Will you come on this side of the chair? Thank you. I got all this weird stuff going on over here. Did you know that for the last 6 training camps, our topic has been synthetic experience? Did you know that every single member of the president's team, including all of the black coats, have utilized synthetic experience to build their practice and their income? Yes. Did you also know that each one of them can share with you how important synthetic experience and mentoring is? Can you imagine Lyall and I sharing with you about a different topic? Well, you don't have to imagine. Time is now. Today we're going to visit with you about the law of compensation. The law of compensation, one of the 12 universal laws, states we are compensated in direct proportion to what we put out into the universe. This law is also known as the law of cause and effect, the law of karma, the law of sowing and reaping. Simply stated, you get back what you give. When we talk about compensation, many people assume we're talking about money or monetary rewards. Though these things are compensation, they are not the only forms of compensation. When we talk about the universal law of compensation, we're talking about any blessing given to us in return for our deeds, our thoughts, our words, or our feelings. These compensations can come in the form of money, material possessions, friendship, relationships, health, and a wealth of other things. It all depends on what you expect to receive for any given deed or task you perform. The thing I want you to understand about this law is that all of the things mentioned above come to you in proportion to the deeds you perform, in response to the thoughts and feelings you have, and that which you put out into the world. Ralph Waldo Emerson says, the law of compensation is the law of laws. In his 1841 essay, he explains compensation in clear terms. Quote, "For everything you have missed, you have gained something else. And for everything you gain, you lose something else. The whole of our existence is a system of compensations. Every defect in one manner is made up in another. Every suffering is rewarded, every sacrifice is made up, every debt is paid." End quote. In essence, every act rewards itself. So think about this. What's the one thing in life that absolutely excites you? How good are you at it? How much time do you spend on it? If there's something that you really love to do, chances are you're going to put an abundance of time and energy into it. The more time you put into it, the more likely you're going to be able to give and receive something back from those efforts. As you sow, so shall you reap, is a saying in this law. What you currently have in your life is a direct result of your past actions. Like all of these forgotten laws, there are violations to the law of compensation. If you expect something for nothing, you're violating this law. People violate this law every day. They're totally unaware of it. If you do just enough to squeeze by, do just enough to pay the bills, do just enough to get paid what you need to get by, so you can keep working a job you hate, then you're violating this law. When you focus on bad things in life, you'll attract bad things back to you. For example, if you focus and criticize all the faults of a human being, you're going to attract people that focus and criticize your faults. As Raymond Hollywell states in his book, Working with the Law, if your thoughts are constructive and proper, you cannot remain imprisoned. If you are dissatisfied and unhappy, you will be inspired for something better. If you want prosperity and success but do not strive to change in any way, how can you expect things to be any different? We're all familiar with the way Henry Ford said it. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. Now, I don't know if that's good English or not, but it's an effective reflection of the law. For our time today, we'd like to focus on compensation in regard to money. Since this is a business training with a group of business owners, I think it's safe to assume you're all okay with your responsibility of creating a successful business, which implies a profitable business. Correct? With me? Okay, good. Now, does that make some of you uncomfortable? Maybe when you think of owning a business, you're fine thinking about helping other people. Maybe not so fine when you think about profit and money. Some of the work we do at Wine Women in Wealth involves our mindset regarding money. We look at our old money programs that run through our heads, that were put there maybe before we even had the ability to vote on that becoming part of our way of being. Things like, we can't afford that. What do you think? Money grows on trees? Money is evil. Money is dirty. Only the rich get richer. What makes you think you deserve that? This old programming can be very limiting and insidious in our ability to move forward with anything that could involve a financial reward or gain. So we'd like you to take some time and listen for and think about any of that bad RAM that's going on in your head. And think about permanently deleting it and replacing it with what we believe is the real truth about money. So are you ready to hear about the real truth about money? Lyall, you want to enlighten our friends?
All right. So I'd like to take you through a little thought journey about money. I got some questions. Have you ever thought about what money actually is? Do you think money is a natural phenomenon? What do you think money really is? How about this? Money is an artificial commodity that has been created so that goods and services can be traded and transferred in a convenient manner. That sounds very proper, doesn't it? That's kind of correct. So then, what are goods and services? Goods and services are things that human beings create that have value, right? Like a bushel of corn. How is a bushel of corn created? Let me see. A farmer prepares his field, plants some seed corn, cultivates and fertilizes the crop as it emerges, harvests the yield, and transports the resultant crop to market. Wow, that sounds like a lot of work. It is a lot of work. As a matter of fact, it takes a lot of work to make money, doesn't it? So then, what is work? We see, work is a lot of intense time and energy, right? And what is time? Do you really know what time is? What is time for you? How's this? A segment of time is a segment of my life, a slice of the allotted interval I've been granted to exist here on earth. Great explanation, right? Pretty correct. Would you agree that time is in essence life? Can you think of any commodity or any service that is not the direct result of someone spending a segment of their life to produce it? You might think, how about gold? Gold has been the basis of many monetary systems throughout history. It is created by nature. Yes, created by nature. But how do you acquire some? Gotcha. Someone has to prospect, mine, refine, transport, etc., etc., etc. Human beings have to expend a portion of their lives to obtain it. So, let me ask again, what is money? Money is a symbol that represents life, right? So why should money be shameful in any way, shape, or form? Is life shameful? You might say, what about the love or lust of money? Well, money is seen as a kind of inanimate object, a commodity, and not the life force of other people. The life force of other people. Then all kinds of mischief can be justified to obtain it. A person who really understands at a deep level that money is a symbol for the hopes, dreams, sweat, attention, and love of other human beings will be powerfully motivated to handle money with extreme care and consideration of those human beings, unless they don't mind a lot of unfortunate things to happen to them. Can you see how money is a symbol for human time and energy? But how does it symbolize love? Let's go back to the farmer. He expends a lot of time and effort and attention to produce his bushel of corn, doesn't he? Why is he producing the corn? So he can provide for his family. Why does he provide for his family? Here's a complete circle. Because he loves them. Is it difficult then to see how the corn is ultimately a product of love? Does that conclusion seem fairly supportable? It does, doesn't it? Let me ask you this. Do you think that love is the root of all evil? Did you hear me correctly? Do you think that love is the root of all evil? No, that seems ridiculous, doesn't it? Then isn't it okay to love money? Wow. Isn't loving money loving love itself? It's kind of twisting your brain a little bit. Is that not a worthy state of consciousness? Assuming, of course, that such a love takes place while thoroughly understanding that money is really a symbol of the sweat and dreams of human beings. Can you see how it would be okay to love money in this way? Makes sense, doesn't it? Because you can only really get to the place where money is effortless if you attain this state of consciousness. Money will not flow freely into your life until you've dropped all your hang-ups about it. Only when you have resolved your subtle sense of shame and guilt will your subconscious blocks fall away. Only then will you feel it is entirely acceptable for you to create money and success in doing so. So, would it serve us to consider having a great love and appreciation of money? To think good and loving thoughts about money? Every single time you handle money, trace it in your mind to its source. Become as conscious as possible that when you are handling money, you are handling a human being's life along with that person's hopes, dreams, loves, and losses. When you're handling large sums, realize that you're handling the lives of many human beings. Be careful. Respect money and honor it for what it is. As you practice these things, your shame and fear surrounding money will begin to fall away. Then your subconscious mind will give you the green light to create an abundant flow. Visualize abundance coming to you and see yourself using it for the greater good. Remember, form follows thought. Thoughts become things. Prepare the channel in your mind and the substance will flow. So when a client gives us $150 a month or $500 a month, if you're totally aware and see that premium as segments of their precious time, piece of their life, does that put you in a different mindset about them? How about $200,000 rollover? How much energy, effort, and how many hours of their life did they invest to create that nest egg? How much love? If you approach each client with this thought process, look at their money as segments of their life and the love invested, and knowing that you're investing a segment of your life into them, can that totally shift your ability to respect them, empathize with them, work hard on their behalf, and feel absolutely thrilled about the love that's being reciprocated to you in the form of money. Knowing you will be compensated more if you help more families, more people, more clients, more agents, if you invest more love.
I've heard that a dozen times, and it just makes my heart sing. Wow. All right. So here's 5 ways to increase your returns while working with the law of compensation. Number 1, don't spend your time thinking about lack. You heard it from several people. Don't spend your time thinking about lack, scarcity, and what you do not have. Instead, spend your time thinking about what you have and that you're thankful for. Gratitude. Look at your life and take pleasure in what you already have. Good friends, beautiful home, fulfilling work, loving family, awesome opportunity. Whatever your life is like, whatever you're going through, there's much to be thankful for. Focus on that. By focusing on the good, you'll attract more good into your life. Number 2, when taking on a task, do your very best. Whatever that task may be, by doing and being better, you draw bigger and better things to yourself. The only way to increase your potential for compensation is to continually strive to increase your potential in all that you do. This is one of the 4 agreements and why we encourage you to embrace self-growth and self-development. Number 3, pay your bills with a grateful heart. Do not begrudge them or try like mad to hold on to that last dollar. If you pay your bills with a thankful heart and spend your money without fear or worry, the law will work on your behalf. Once you start to release money cheerfully, you will begin to see the true source of supply. Most important, watch your outflow. This includes being highly responsible about the money you owe to others for their time and efforts. Thoughtfully release money regularly and generously. Give, give, and give again. Number 4, if you've attracted something unpleasant, learn from it and let it go. Do not dwell on it, or you'll bring more of it to you. Look hard at the cause of this unpleasantness, learn from your mistakes, and change what needs to be changed, but do not hold on to the unpleasantness. It has happened, you cannot change it, but you can keep it from repeating itself. And number 5, continue to learn, grow, and improve. The only way to get more is to give and become more. Would you agree then that this means there is no exemption, no exception, and no escape from this law of life? We cannot have successes without failures or hardships without gains. For every gain there is a loss. We lose the wood to gain the fire and the heat. We lose the heat to cook the food. We lose the food to nourish our body, and so it goes. This law of nature is about balance, harmony, and equilibrium. Universal laws are not quick fixes. They are deeply philosophical rules for living that require effort and dedication to fully integrate. But once they click and you see the results in profound ways, it's truly life-altering. When talking about any of the universal laws, the most important thing to remember is that it's all up to you. Your fate lies in your hands. The law of compensation is no different. Only you can change what you are receiving, and only you can increase your compensation. Lyall, do you have any final thoughts on the law of compensation?
Couple things. Do you think that Mike Wilk does what he does day in and day out for money? No. Or for love? Love. Yesterday he talked about Albert Einstein. He was saying that energy, or everything is energy. So would you agree that life force is energy? Yes. And when we invest segments of our life, we're investing energy, correct? When we talk about energy, our first thought is of electricity most of the time. And when electricity flows through wires, we call that a current, right? So have you ever wondered why, when we talk about money, we call it currency?
That's good, huh?
Thank you, Raj. Money is energy. You'll be compensated for the energy you put forth to attain it. That is the law of compensation. Thank you.